it yourself. Alright, so I'm going to be pulling up the collection now, and today our focus is going to be on Greek and then the neutral cards in relation to the Greek faction. So what we're going to be doing is pulling up the list that we had built with Chima last week, and he is like the best Chinese player I know, and we came up with a pretty good, I think it's a pretty good rating so far of what we have, and hoping to continue that this week and, you know, get some good ratings out to the players so they know what to pick in arenas. I know that's one of the biggest things lacking in this game, is helping the new players get better arena decks.
Oh yeah, an arena definitely will help you flesh out your collection real fast if you get some good chain wins with it.
Totally. Just trying to go for that 7 win as many times as you can. So I just wanted to say the scale that we're using right now is 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. 5 is broken or game changing in some way. Discordia being an idea of her game mechanics are broken, and Guan Yu is someone who's game changing regardless of, depending on what deck you're against. Honestly, Guan Yu's not even the best card, but sometimes he can just make a deck play the way you want him to.
Oh yeah.
Number 4 is a little bit overpowered. Number 3 is balanced. Number 2 is a bit underpowered. And number 1 is shit tier or unplayable. And unfortunately, we have a lot of 1s and 2s from Chinese and the neutral Chinese cards. So, yeah, I mean, there's just so much. After we finish going through all the pantheons with the different streamers I'm planning on to have on, I'm going to be breaking this apart statistically and showing what has the highest rated cards on average between the different people and who has the lowest ones, and it'll just give a general idea of your chances of getting good cards in arena. And I think it's not exact science, but I think it should hold.
Yeah.
So the first card that we're going to be going over, and
probably Purification.
Yeah, Purification.
Yeah, I think it's balanced. I don't see it being complete crap, but it's nothing special either. I think it's just right there. Maybe a 2 or 3. Blame it around those hours.
And do you think so? Which one for each? One for arena and one for constructed.
Oh, yeah, one for constructed and arena. Constructed, I'd give it a 2. It's not that it's because it's not balanced at all. It's just when you have the option of 25 cards, I'm not really going to aim at a lot of purifications. There's a lot of better survivability ones. As far as arena goes, no, I'd still give it a 2. I'd still wouldn't. I'd pick it over like certain cards, but definitely wouldn't be grabbing it all the time either.
Yeah, and I agree with you completely. I have 2s here for both of them. I don't think it's a bad card like you're saying. I just think even if they increased its cost and gave it more of a stat boost to the secondary effect, it would be justifying its inclusion in the deck more, just because of opportunity costs, like you're saying, with the 25 deck limit.
Yes, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, when a few times I've had it, pulling it off on a stun or something like that definitely can change the tempo, but it's so situational.
Yeah, I agree. So the one thing I will say before we move on from it, talking about going into the tournaments and stuff like that, Purification would be something that I might be using if I was targeting a CC heavy Pantheon in the Conquest mode. That is, it might actually be played and constructed in that sense if you're just targeting, like, for example, how do I recover from Terra or something like that. But like you're saying, I don't think it has a broad application in general.
Yep.
So for the next card, we have Weakening Curse.
Yeah, it's kind of almost in the same category as Purification for me. I'd say Constructed. I wish they could do halves, 2.5. No, I think it's a little better than purification, but not completely game breaking or anything like that. Maybe let's go with 3s. I'd still probably choose a weakening curse over a purification in arena.
Yeah, I have it 3 in arena too. I find it to be like the way I look at it is it's like a stun. Not as good of a stun, but it costs nothing. So in arena, I could definitely see myself drafting it, but right now in constructed, I really haven't found a use for it. So I have a 2 in constructed and a 3 in arena.
I would agree wholeheartedly with you on that one. I think it does have a better role in arena for trades.
Exactly.
As far as constructed goes, I'd like a different card. I think like Sanctuary or something like that.
Yeah, Sanctuary, dude. I'm telling you, I think this card is underrepresented right now.
No, I think it's a great card. I think it's great in arena too. But I guess we're getting to it soon. So
yeah. Next card we have is Gem of Isolation.
Gem of Isolation. I'd give that 3s across the board. I wouldn't be so mean to it on constructed. I mean, it's nice to have a stun. I think the 1 damage to everything around usually doesn't do much. The situations I found using it on, but it's nice to have a stun for 1.
I agree with you. I have 3s across the board here as well, and I've only really noticed the deal 1 damage being effective back in the day when Odin was like 60% of the people that you fought online on ranked. So since those days are over, I don't really pack Gem of Isolation in my constructed deck anymore, but before it was something that actually helped me survive to get to Athena.
Sounds good.
So the next card we have is Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, in my opinion, is great for both constructed and arena. I do try to pull this one, especially in arena, a lot. So I would give them 4s across the board for Sanctuary for both, because it's actually a really good card. And I do agree with you. I think it's underrated. Honestly, when I was building the deck earlier today for the ranked, I was really stuck on Sanctuary. I was like, I want to get you in here, but still opted with the other things.
Yeah, it requires some setup, so understandably it is definitely optional, even if it has an incredibly powerful effect. So next card we have up here is Teleport.
Teleport's fun. It's fun when you have a big guy in the back and you need to kill them. And you just get that win when they're not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
But as far as like I need to grab this, I would still say you're looking at 3s across the board, or probably 2 in constructed and 3 in arena. Actually, it's maybe 2s. I think 2s across the board.
Yeah, I have this as 2 as well on both. It's just, it needs to cost 0, or it needs to just have a little bit more done to your target. It just, 1 for that effect. It's not enough to justify the opportunity cost to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where in constructed, once again, it's just you don't want it over another card for your 25. And then in arena, sometimes on Zeus Arena, you get stuck with like a Thorns, a Purification, and a Teleport. And that's probably the only times where, depending on what you got, you might grab it, but you don't really always try to go for something like that at all.
Yeah, and speaking of Thorns, it's our next card.
I don't like Thorns.
No, I don't like it
The only time
either.
I've actually seen it used was someone put it on their Hades to try to just get an arena, just to try to get more kills from it. I don't like it. I would give it 1s across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Again, this could be another thing where if that return damage was increased, like if it was up to 3 or 4 at the same cost, I wouldn't even boost. Like, it would be balanced at that point to me. Like, unfortunately, I don't think this is a very strong mechanic because it's a mechanic that is completely in control by your opponent.
Exactly. When you give your opponent control, I feel like it's card going down the wrong path for design.
Yeah, it means that the better your opponent is, the less chance that it's going to be effective, and that's the opposite of what you want. All right, so the next card we have here is, how do you pronounce this? Because I thought this was Arachne, but I think I'm saying it incorrectly.
Oh, no, you're right. No, it's Arachne. I just wasn't looking at the name. Yeah, it's Arachne. It's acne with an Iraq in there. But,
no, okay.
Yeah, I would give her 4. I'd give her 4s across the board. I think she's a great card. I liked when they brought her down to a 2 cost. I think when she was what was it? I think she was a 5/5 for 4 or something like that, or a 5/5 for 5. I don't remember. But
at that point,
she was so much better at this point. When
spiders don't do anything, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're doing at the end of a turn a 1/1. It's kind of backward.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I liked the change with her a lot. I like that they made her very explodable for having that kind of change.
Yeah.
But I think she has a great end of turn ability that definitely, can trade the 1/1 so you don't get masked up on as a Zeus, or if not, I mean, if they got nothing for it, you just start massing up and you start annoying them,
No, yeah, totally. And it's also cool that the spiders come out as beasts. So for some cool specialist decks.
As well. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I've had some hyena Arachne plays in arena decks, and it's pretty good. He gets really big really fast.
She's a reverse Oogway at that point.
Yeah, basically. So we have the next card up is Divine Intervention.
I think it's a pretty good card. I would say it's like 3s across the board for me. I think it's very well balanced. I think it helps you definitely get the card pull you need, and especially in construct. I think it has more weight in constructed than arena, but I still think it's good in arena. But I wouldn't say it's that like amazing. So I like the fact that you can pull those gods out quicker, because like I said, the gods are your spells basically, and the more options you have, the more answers you have for the board. So I do think it's a good card.
I agree with you mostly. Unconstructed, I'm actually going to put a 4 here, just because if this was 3 cost, I'd probably still play it in constructed. So that says to me it's a little undercosted, but the effect is just about right, I think.
Yeah, and that's a great effect.
So the next card we have up is Guard.
I'd give Guard 2 across the boards. I'm kind of disappointed in it as a rare. But I give it 2 across the board. I mean, it's good to have the Guard. I think it definitely can save your butt. But I don't think it's anything, game breaking or like, it's not a wow me card,
Yeah, not at all. This again, I would like to see the secondary effect boosted to a +3/+3.
Yeah, no, definitely. They did a lot of these secondary effects on Zeus need a little love. As for the spells, I mean, I think all of his gods really stand out, and they really make the spells seem kind of meh.
I agree. Now, this is a card that I might hate on, and I'm probably going to give this a little less of a rating than it's deserved. But we have Heavenly Agility. I've got spanked by it by a guy going Heavenly Agility, Heavenly Agility. So
so much early game tempo. For a ramp deck, it's just what you need on a constructed, based on what you're building for. I think on constructed, I'll give it a 4. In arena, honestly, I just always try to pull 1 just in case you get lucky with it on your early hand draw.
Yeah.
So I'll still give it like a 3. Because I mean, extra mana is extra mana. You cannot go wrong being able to do more on your turn.
That is true. I'm going 2 and 3. The 2 in arena just because there's no effect there that really affects the board. And the thing that I'd like to see out of this card, I know you said you didn't really play Hearthstone, but there's a card similar to this in Hearthstone that if you had max mana, you could play it for 2 and then draw an additional card. Just simply adding that to the deck would be amazing. That would be
so much nicer, because that's why I'm always tentative on always. Whenever I see people with 2 in their deck, I'm like, man, that's so situational. I feel like it really does mess you up when you draw this card after you've gotten past 10. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just a wasted draw at that point.
Yep, I agree. Like, it's so boomer bust, and that's why it's like, I feel like it definitely deserves better than the 2 and 3 I'm giving it, but because of the unpredictability, it's hard for me to say that it's better. The next card, however, Judgment, is pretty good.
Oh, Judgment's wonderful. I'll give that 4 across the board. On any arena play, I would say you gotta grab a nuke in general. This is Zeus's only nuke, so you need to grab it if you do see it. And same with Constructed. I mean, the fact that you only need 2 gods out to do a nuke that can pretty much take out like a hitting gladiator or whatever, it's pretty nice, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think its 4s across the board is very justified. Now, the next card is a card by just looking at it, I want to give it 4s across the board. But in practice, I don't find it as good as what the text says. Mostly because you cannot use her to kill people at 1 life.
Yes, there's so many times where I wish this would round down.
Yes, exactly.
As far as like taking out something, or even when you do it on those odd numbers, it's kind of a bummer that you get the short end of the stick, especially when you're being the aggressor with it. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the text always sounded nice. I remember when I first read this, when I very first started playing, I'm like, oh, this is like incredible. And then you use it, and you just got like either a 2-4 or a 2-3.
Exactly.
Unless you hang on to it for late game. But it's not always the best thing to do with Nemesis either. I think she's good 3, 4, or 5 drop. And I think if you want a late game, I think that's the addition of Shock and Awe definitely touches that. So I would say I agree with you. I wouldn't go 4 across the board. I think she's just very well balanced. She's a balanced card. I'd go threes across the board. It depends on how you're building. I think in Arena it's still good to catch something by surprise, and then maybe Judgment. So she's still good to grab. So yeah, I'm good with 3s across the board for her.
And that what you just mentioned is exactly why I'm giving her 3s, which is I would never pick her over Judgment in any situation, pretty much.
I mean, basically, they have to be 4 or higher for her to get the same effect as Judgment, and then that's only if you're doing a weakened Judgment. So it's, yeah, I agree with you. I'd pick a Judgment. I think she's a little disappointing as a rare. I feel like at least give her a little more toughness naturally. Let her have a little more fun being out there and doing trades or something. But I guess it's just fully reliant on what she steals.
I would be, and this is going to sound kind of weird, right? But I would be really interested in seeing her becoming a 3-0 that has the current ability that she has. Because at that point, it's like, you can't play her unless you have a target, which is a great restriction. But having that extra 1 damage is pretty big, I think. As you're saying, the 2-4 is kind of shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's definitely something to think about. Maybe we'll make a post about Nemesis later.
So we're looking at next. We got Sentry Ward.
Sentry Ward, yeah.
Sentry Ward. I mean, it's it's awesome when you steal a great card. um, but I'd rather get divine interventions or RGs. So I don't know. I'd say it's I don't know where I'm at with this one. I think like somewhere in the 2-3 grounds for both. It's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I have 2 on both. It's the main thing with it is the only real use I see for it is going super super late game as Greek, and that's not really an option or how they're built. So what's the point in trying to deck your opponent as Greek right now? I don't see the point.
I feel like Equalize puts this card to shame anyway.
Completely puts it to shame.
Like, come on. You can give Hindu that, and you can't give a little of this way if they're going to do it that way.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of it like that. If you compare this with the draw 2 God cards from your deck, for me, I would always want to draw the 2 God cards.
Oh yeah, it's a no-brainer in comparison.
Yeah. Well, the next card we have here is actually one I have not got a lot of experience playing, which is Shell.
Well, I think it's the fact that you don't have a lot of experience playing it probably states to why. I mean, same here. I don't pull it much, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't have a lot of experience playing it. I don't play it in constructed. I feel like if you're gonna go for protect, why not get a 2/4 along with it?
That's a good point.
And a 2/4 ranged on top of that. So and then in arena, I never really grab it too. So I don't know. It seems. I mean, you get 4x4. Potentially, you can do 4 people with it, but with Zeus, I just find that very rarely happening. And the positioning and everything, it just you're going in ranks now, and you're all bottled up together. I just don't find my units moving that way with Zeus. So I don't know. I'd give it 2s or even perhaps 1s. I mean, 1 on constructed for me. I just never use it. Maybe 2 in arena. I'm not sure. That's on the low end for me at least.
Yeah, I definitely have it as a 2 in arena, and the only reason I have it as a 2 and not a 1 in constructed is because Beast Zeus is apparently a thing, and this is actually a card that I would probably play in Beast Zeus to get multiple trades with. Other than that, there's no way you're gonna you have to stack your deck with a crap load of low cost neutral beasts. That's the only way you can make this card work as is. So I could see potential with newer low cost Greek cards, but right now his cards do not support this card.
Hey, Midi, give me one moment. Just 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry about that. Grandpa did a surprise visit to see his grandson, so he said,
Oh, no problem, man. I was just telling
hospitality for a minute.
No, don't worry about it, man. I already lost all my grandparents, and let me tell you, those are if I could spend another 5 minutes with my grandparents, I completely understand, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm down to my last grandma, and yeah, I completely agree with you. So many times where, and definitely wish I'll get a few minutes back with them. They're all very special.
So, I was just telling the chat here, as soon as we finish all the card reviews, I've already started working on a Friends of the Gods splash art that's going to be playing like for the beginning of all of our streams and stuff. And it basically, all I have right now is my picture, which is my cat, my Twitch picture, and that's covering the face of the commissioner from the Iron Chef as he's pointing to like all these chefs in the background where I'm gonna Photoshop all your guys' Twitch pictures on there. And yeah, I was like, dude, if we're making this a thing, we gotta like do it big, right?
Have some fun with it for sure.
Yeah, have some fun with it, you know? So yeah, dude, Black Man Chima is like, he's the man when it comes to Chinese, and we definitely, it'll be nice to have more points of references, and it's cool.
And I really enjoyed your interview with him earlier too. It was good. It was good listening to.
Awesome, man. Oh yeah, DeathSaint.
Those keyboard pulls were insane.
Oh my god, seriously, dude, tell me about it.
Goodness, I was like, well, 4 of them. I don't know how many you guys got.
Four Wabwas, yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Before we get back to the review here real quick, Chima said to add him. It's the same name as his PSN name. So the next card we have here is Touch of Midas.
Touch of Midas, Discover God. I like it because you can get a lot of different pantheons. I wouldn't pick it over certain things. I mean, it's in that uncommon tier in Arena, so sometimes you get that, and then you got like a Spartan and something way better to pull.
Totally.
The thing I don't like is, man, I don't like that when I discover God, you get to discover God. You know what's gonna come, and your opponent can prepare. And the fact that you slowed it down by adding 2 mana to your God cost, like Odin, at least you get +2/0 to it for the balance of the tempo of losing a card to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you just kind of get it, you show them what you got, and and hope they don't have a counter, or hope they're not prepping everything with that in mind.
No, totally, man.
Yeah, so I like Discover cards because they give you options and RNG. I mean, honestly, it's a fun thing in this game. I like the little casino aspect, but as far as getting a lot of success with it, I'll have to give it like 2 to 3s for across the board for me.
Do you have a specific one that you want the 2 and the 3 on?
You know what? Not really. Sorry. Maybe 2 in constructed, 3 in no, I don't know, man. Maybe flip that. I just say they're both kind of in between a 2 and a 3 for me.
Yeah, I have both 2s here as well in Arena. I think it's a little better just because of the potential to pull like Kukulkan off of it and just completely wreck someone.
When you pull like an epic legendary, it's awesome. It's just I agree with you.
When you look at the math of it, though, your chance of pulling something really good to pulling something that it wasn't worth spending the 2 mana on is not enough for me to justify giving it a 3 still. So I still also have it at 2s across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So next guy, I think he's pretty good. We have Apollo here.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, Apollo. I think it's a great pull. I think whenever I see it in Arena, I definitely go for him. You cannot go wrong with a range attacking twice. He's a good card. I think he's right where he needs to be. I would say maybe like 4 and 4. I like him. I think he's good.
Yeah, I'm also going with 4 and 4. The only thing that keeps him out of my decks is Scylla, so keep that in mind, Next card we have here is Deathbringer.
Man, Deathbringer on like on your Brood or on your Ares is definitely like a finisher. Which is nice. It's basically like the version of the double attack on Odin, but for Greek.
Yeah, and it focuses it into one target.
Mm-hmm. I'm s- I don't know where I sit with it. I think it's good. Um, Usually when you got epics to pull an arena, I might want to pull something stronger if I see something. So I'm kind of like at odds with what I think. I think constructed maybe. Let's see, three or four, and same with the kind of arena. Three, I guess.
No, no problem. I agree. I have a 3 in constructed. I think it's really powerful with Nike specifically. You pop this and Sanctuary on Nike, and you pretty much win the game. But in Arena, I just never I never have the cards and Deathbringer in the same deck. So unfortunately I'm going to give this actually a 1 in Arena just because it doesn't necessarily help me take the board back, and it helps me win more / win faster. So when I can customize my deck, it's totally useful. I can totally see the use, but I'm going to give this a 1 in Arena.
Yeah. You know, when you bring it up that way too, I would change my 3 to a 2 for it. I think when you got the different options to pull, you're not really going the biggest heavy hitters on Arena all the time anyways. So
yeah,
I agree with you. That's pretty fair.
So the next card we have here is Scylla.
1 second, sorry.
No problem. All right, I'll talk about what I think about this card. It's amazing. And really, you're considering this as a 5-drop rather than a 3-drop, because almost all the time you're going to be wanting to power it up into a 2/3 off the bat. In my deck, my ranked deck, using her on 6 with the Sanctuary and the hero power is pretty good. So I think 4s across the board is pretty justified.
All right, sorry about that. And going off of what I heard, definitely, I agree with you. I think she's like I said, the only range with the charge, and that power to just scale up is awesome. Sometimes you even get to play against some people who just throw things out and mess them up in a hole. I can't tell you how many times Hindu doesn't have anything to do on their first turn. They just throw down a Totem against Zeus and
yeah,
you just pop the mana potion and you got a problem to deal with. Pretty much can trade with anything at that point that they can summon on the 3.
Yeah, she's not as resilient as Bacchus in any way, but like you're saying, if she gets that initial jump and she's the 4 ranged, you can win off that alone.
Oh yeah, you can definitely script some tempo with them. But no, I agree with you. It's combined with Sanctuary or just the ability to reach almost everything on that turn when she comes out. I think she's 4s across the board for sure.
Cool. And what about Shock and Awe?
Shock and Awe. I was really happy when they added this card, actually. It was nice to get a silence. I think the effect of it's great. Let's see. I would say 4 in constructed, 3 in arena. I'm not going to stack a bunch of Shock and Awes, but I still think it's very balanced and good. In constructed, I think you can definitely work a lot of things with it. I think almost any really good constructed Zeus deck at least has 1. So yeah, I'd give it a 4.
That's a good point. I had it at 3 in constructed, but I'm actually considering changing it to 4 because I don't think I've, like you said, ran a Zeus deck without at least 1 Shock and Awe in it. So that's a really good point. Mine might get changed later. Let me think on that. Next card we have is Stone of Gaia.
Stone of Gaia, you want to have. It's one of those cards where you want to have so much fun with. Just because it's not base health like or base attack like Deathbringer, so you can do like so much with it. But in all honesty, it's even though you want to have a lot of fun with it, it's it's kind of just there. So I don't know. For me, I'd give it like two in constructed and two in arena. I don't find myself going for it too often. It just unless I want to do something gimmicky.
Yeah, I find the same thing. There's not really anything I'm wanting to target with it. So, I'm sorry, I didn't get your rankings. I have 2 and 2 here.
Yeah, I said two for both as well.
Okay. The only thing, like you were saying, in using it in arena, it's definitely better than Deathbringer because of the non-base restriction. I think you nailed it with that.
I feel like Deathbringer could be really, really fun if they. I honestly, I would up Deathbringer's ranking on a lot of things if you could do it with anything, especially since he can already empower things early game.
Yeah,
you could definitely mess some people up if they had that way.
Maybe even Zeus's hero power could boost base stats so that it's not silenceable, something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
So here's a card that since it became its own card, I actually haven't used. Have you ended up liking to use the Kraken post the patch?
Post patch, if you are going like a non-god Zeus or something, like if you're going Beast Zeus, I see you like using it, but post patch, you don't really see it too much. It's a really hard card to gain much early game with. You waste your turn basically for the trade of the 2 damage and everything. It works really well with gladiators. And then it goes down to a 1 cost, that's when it's actually nice. As far as feeling legendary, being alone doesn't feel all that legendary anymore. But I mean, Poseidon got the rework because it wasn't in that place too. So I'm not sure. In arena, I know I'm gonna have definitely different legendaries to pull on Zeus. And I think I'd still like my power-up one, so I think on arena I'd give it a 2. I don't find myself pulling it compared to the other legendaries that I can grab. Constructed, maybe like a 3 or 4. Very specific on what you're building with Zeus. I'd probably say 3.
Okay, and I have 3 on both here, mostly because for arena, I don't really see it as a 3-cost card, more as I'm casting it on 6 or on 5 if I already have the gladiator up. So
fair enough.
It's situational, but I've literally won games by just crackening my opponent's stuff every turn. So it's good, but it's not anywhere as good as Poseidon is for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now the next card is probably the most endowed card in the game, which is Aphrodite. I mean, I notice these things. I look at cards all day, okay?
Fair enough. My wife calls it hand of the boobs. She gets really mad sometimes. What the game designers have decided to go with every girl over here, unless she's a little girl. But yeah,
that's a good point.
Aphrodite, I'd give her. I think she's really balanced. I'd give her 3s across the board. I don't think she's anything like wow amazing because it is very defensive. But I mean, turning somebody into a brute, it's nice. Yeah, I'd give her 3s across the board. I do find myself pulling her balancedly on arena too because that protection definitely helps out with some traits and stuff.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. I kind of do have 3s across the boards here. I will say though, with more cards coming out, and obviously this is why I'm not going to increase the ranking now, but she has huge potential to have something built around her with more low-cost gods coming into the game.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, if like for example, if there was another 3-drop that came out with 3 damage on it, and you can follow that up with Protect 2, that would become a seriously powerful curve right there.
Oh man.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, if they're neutral, she lends only one of her endowed blessings to them, and if they're gods, she lends both of them out her.
I ended up playing some Smite earlier, and she's incredibly frustrating in Smite game as well. Like, holy crap! Like, I don't exactly know what I'm doing.
She's support, I guess.
Yeah, she's a support, but out of nowhere, you just see the word smooch on your screen, and then like I was dead. Like, I don't know what happened, but it was fun either way. The next card we have here is Beacon of Hope.
For its cost, I mean, when you like pull like a Nike out of it, it's nice to get Nike like 2 turns early, but it's like I said, it's just very RNG. You can pull like a Nemesis and really that sucks. So it's just I don't know, just. Yeah, I want to give it more than a 2, but I kind of still want to give it a 2 across the board.
No,
2 or 3.
It's okay. I'm kind of close here. I am at 1 on Arena, because if you choose to play this card on 4, you fucking lose the game if you like get Nemesis next. Like, I'm not even kidding. That drop in tempo.
And the thing is, it's a random Greek god, and I think that's what really hurts it. Because a lot of the Greek gods have, like the really good high cost ones, have really great war cries. If you can still use their war cries if they came out, that would really help this card a lot. But without it, it's just kind of meh.
No, I think you hit it on the nail there, right? Unfortunately, the cards that you might want to get, you can't use their war cries. The cards that don't have war cries are like Apollo, so you're spawning a 3 cost for 4, maybe. And the worst would be getting something like Poseidon. That's like getting Nemesis, basically.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nemesis and Poseidon would be like, oh man, slap in the face. Your best bet is Medusa or Nike.
Yep.
And even then, it's just, I'd rather wait one more turn and actually put Medusa in my deck on a constructed than fingers crossed it for 1 extra turn early.
Yeah. And
same with Nike. I mean, it's not that much of a big difference at that mana cost at that point.
Would you be still playing this card if it costs 3? Like, would you be putting this in your constructed deck?
If it costs 3, that could change things. I mean, 3... being able to pull a 7 cost or something like that at 3, I mean, even if you didn't get the Warcry, a 4/5 ranged at 3 mana can be brutal.
That's true. That could be a turn 1 with the coin going second.
Exactly. That could just be extremely difficult for your opponent to deal with. You know?
So it sounds like we have a problem of a card that's going to be very hard to balance. In addition to it being completely shit right now. So, unfortunately, it doesn't sound like Beacon of Hope's going to be getting fixed without a complete rework, if you ask me.
Doesn't sound like Beacon of Hope has much hope at the moment.
No, not at all. It should be called Beacon of Despair, basically.
Beacon of Shit Tier.
Yeah. Yeah, that was only the second one I gave today after Thorns. Champion's Bluff is the next one.
Man, like for a new card, I feel like with all the new cards that come out, they give a lot of love to new cards. Champion's Bluff, I literally tried to do some really gimmicky, fun things with it, just for the sake of like, let's do this, let's shit it off. But I mean, the fact is, you can really help your opponent out on this, and it's one of those things where I just can't put it in constructed because of that. And in Arena, with my other epic choices, I just wouldn't pick it. It's too situational. The only way you would really get the most out of this card is if you have a big card in your hand, like a Census, and your opponent has no cards, or you know what your opponent got. You know?
Yeah.
That's the only time I can see it. So that way you can just save mana and pull out 2 things with a big card. But even then, it's just like I said, it's something I wouldn't do in constructed because of that reason. I tried it with constructed. I wanted to have fun with this because it's very different. But the results just they weren't very epic for an epic card. So I'm just gonna give it a 1 in arena for me, and 2 in constructed. It's just not. Yeah, it's just weird.
I think that you pretty much matched my entire sentiment there, and 1 and 2 is exactly how I feel too. You'd have to basically go all in on making a deck work around Champion's Bluff, and it'd be so gimmicky that you would probably lose a quarter of your games to just not drawing properly.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Next card we have is Deicide.
DeathSaint's good. It's for the most part you're gonna fight somebody with a god. Period. It's got the execute factor for 1 less mana, but at the same time, there's a lot of neutral cards you want to kill, but you can't kill with Deicide. So you don't really want a lot of them. I don't know. I'd give them 3s across the board. They're good. It's nothing. It's very balanced. It's a very balanced card, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's incredibly powerful against certain pantheons, but it's actually not as good against other ones. So 3s across the board, and it's definitely stronger against, like, for example, Egyptian and Chinese and stuff, where you need to shut down that Ao Kuang or Guan Yu immediately.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at your comment. It's more laughing at Chimo emerging victorious over here.
I think he stole some of my Ponkoid too. Shit.
He's taking you out, man.
I know. I'm just testing these things out, and apparently the guy robbed me when I'm doing this card review.
You can't mess with this Chinese. He's too strong in the arena.
No, exactly.
You trying to go in the arena in Chinese? I mean, that's the only thing I've ever 3-0'd you with was Chinese.
Not surprised, man. Not surprised. So the next card we have... I'm super happy with his change. He's interesting and powerful.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I think he's a lot of fun. He feels very legendary now. That war cry is just a blast. I mean, basically it's a terror on crack, It's less mana. You get cards back, they're gone, Just poof. Like it's wonderful. I would give him a 5. He's very game changing. He's either, if you need to draw cards or just fill out your hand a little more, and you do them earlier, or you can really, really affect the board late game. And I think there's never a bad time for Poseidon.
So are you going to give it 4 or 5s across the board here? I did as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I see him on Legendary for Arena, I'm probably gonna pull him.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It'd have to be like Fire Giant, if not.
And yeah, exactly. It'd be very, very few other Legendaries that it'd have to contest with. So yeah, I'd probably pull him in Arena. So I'd do 5, and then same with Constructed. I do like every new constructed Zeus. For rank is for sure going to have Poseidon, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I just want to say good job, High Res, on this card design.
This one I think is good. This one is a good one. I don't think it definitely feels legendary, so it has that good legendary feel, but it's not like, hey, this is like stupid,
Yeah, totally. Next card we have here is Thanatos.
So what do you think about Thanatos? I like him. I still would like him. I know it'd be so broken, but I wouldn't mind him losing some power and him being a 3-drop. I would love it so much.
Yeah, it'd be a lot much easier to play him for sure. The 4's packed, right?
The 4 exactly. The 4 is really packed on Zeus. It's super packed. I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. That's why I put 2 of them in the ranked. I'll probably still pull him in Arena too. I mean, it's a wonderful war cry, excellent war cry. I don't mind losing some stats on him if I could play him cheaper. I really I know we're ranking him right now, but I just it's one of those cards where I think I'd just rather discuss him changing a bit. But as far as picking him, he's 4 in constructed. Yeah, I think 3 or 4 in arena too. He's good. He's good and balanced.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good as is, and I think he would definitely get better with a drop in stats and a drop in cost as well. So we both have him at 4 as is. So if he did get a little bit better, he might be pushing into a very powerful zone there.
Yeah, it just I love his effect too. I mean, I think one of the most coolest animations to just dunk on a card, you know.
Well, and it kills afterlife. Did you notice that? Like if they,
oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, they don't pop up anything.
Next card we have here is Ascension, and I've actually used this in a couple different decks. It's really weird decks that revolve around complete tempo play. Poseidon, Ascensius, and all Warcry heroes, basically. And you can sometimes hit your opponent for fatigue damage early game from bouncing them with this card. It's kind of crazy.
Oh man, no, for sure. I feel like I mean, if they have enough out, they're losing stuff. You can fill out that whole hand pretty nasty. But Ascension. I think it's greater in constructed for sure. I think I don't find myself pulling it as much as I give it like a 2 or 1 in arena, to be honest, even though it's a cool card. And I'd probably give it maybe 3 in constructed. And
yeah,
because it's like something you're going to build around. I do think it's a lot of fun though. It's a fun card.
Yeah, I have it also as 3. I would give it a 3.5 if we were doing things like that. I have it as a 2 in arena just because you don't get to choose a bunch of gods to stack your arena deck with all the time. Mm-hmm. But I do think that this is, again, another deck that is going to be easy to build around in the future. And with the way they took Poseidon, it looks like bounce is something that they're going to try to incorporate as a sub-strategy into the Greek faction.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like that's what they're doing.
It's pretty cool. I kind of find that interesting. And this is kind of embarrassing here.
Cronus is in your collection over here, right?
No.
Hey, I wish I could show you my screen too. I don't have any as well.
I don't even pick him in arena, to be honest. Like, I don't know what he's good for, other than if your opponent is playing a deck. Like, if your opponent is playing Mayan with a shitload of zombies, maybe Kronos can cheese you a win with that one deck. But other than that, there's like no use in you paying 5 costs for a 4/4 with a crap ability. Deadeye is better than him in every way.
Yeah, no, Deadeye definitely beats Kronos. Unless you're playing against those guys. I mean, some people actually really do take a really long time to think out their turns.
Yeah,
I'm kind of guilty for that, but when somebody does pop a Kronos on me, it really doesn't change it much. I just pick up the pace. I just like to think out my turn. I have pulled it out with a Beacon of Hope a few times. It is funny when your opponent doesn't keep up with it. But as far as picking it in constructed or picking it in arena, I'd probably just give it 2s across the board. It doesn't feel very epic. It's very high cost, and it's just one of those things where it depends on who you're playing to actually even really have an effect on them.
I do agree with your ratings there. I'm only giving him a 1 in arena purely because of opportunity cost of other epics, like you're saying. But God, I hope this guy gets a re-kit, man. Like, this is.
Oh yeah, I know.
This is embarrassing.
He does. I think he does. Yeah, I think he does, especially since he's a 4/4 ranged god, you know, and Zeus doesn't have much high damage ranged, and I think I think they could. I think for him being in the epic slot, there's definitely work to be done with him.
Dude,
I do like the idea. It's very themed to his lore. I think they did a great job at trying to theme it to his lore. I don't know. It doesn't. It's for a game like this, it just doesn't really do it.
what if he was like a 7 cost? Or no, I guess they have a ton of 7 costs already. There's no 8 cost yet. So let's say he was like...
Well, you know what? Like, Magic the Gathering had ones where you can skip your opponent's turn. Maybe he was really expensive and pulled something like that.
Oh, God.
Crazy.
No, if you do anything where you get to take another turn, it's going to be basically the whole problem with Bologna.
You're probably right. No,
oh my God. Yeah.
He'd have to become legendary. He'd have to become legendary for that.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. What if he was an 8 cost that said trigger all allied war cries on the board?
Oh, snap.
Because think about how much war cry is within the faction. There's already kind of a sub-strategy with shock and awe. It just seems like something they could easily build a really cool high-cost creature. Again, 7 costs is the highest Pantheon card out of Greek. So I'm just saying, like, it's not like there's not a niche that they could fit Kronos into.
Yeah, that, or maybe he can be almost like one of the banishing totems, except instead of banish, it kind of like keeps him stunned as long as he's out in play, and that'd be pretty cool too. Something to still stick with stuck in time.
Yeah,
but
like stasis.
But, there's something. Yeah, exactly, and it just be kind of cool that way because it could be you just work with him. But no, I agree with you. I do think he needs a rework. For sure, you don't see him.
Yeah,
you very rarely see him, especially for being like one of the newer cards.
And that's my biggest complaint. He's not an original card. He's come out within the last 2 months, so it's like you guys put time toward that, and that's what you came out with. I know it seems like kind of a cool ability, but it's just gimmicky as shit. So no one like Nostradamus, who is the dragon in Hearthstone that had that ability, is called a joke / meme card. Do your research on this one, Hi-Rez. Sorry about that.
Calling him out.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of meetings onto things like this where I'm sure there's a lot of high-level people that had to have look at the competition that they're building this game around, and this one just kind of
take it.
Yeah, it just kind of slipped out under their view, I think, is all. Mm-hmm. Next one we got is Divine Vengeance.
So Divine Vengeance actually gives you some decent Bologna control when it comes to Arena. Like I feel like in Arena I've actually gotten a lot of good use out of it. So I'll give it a 4 for Arena for me at least. I've actually got some success with it. Constructed, it's nice when you do a god deck and you don't hurt your own units and you do 4 to everything. So I still think it's probably like a 3 or 4.
I have it as 3 in Arena and 4 in Constructed as well. Mm-hmm. What did you have something you wanted to add to the end of that?
Oh, no, I can see where you even say that. No, I think it's a decent card. It's right mana, right effect, and actually change some tempo. So
yeah, any card that you can put possibly get a 2-for-1 with for 5 or less mana. I think it's at least a average card or better. So I do like Divine Vengeance. All right, and the next card we have here is Enyo, and we talked a little bit about her earlier, and I really liked the points you had brought up.
Yeah, I think she synergizes well with certain cards. To be honest, does Enyo feel very legendary to you?
Her flagpole does.
Her flagpole. Yeah,
that's it.
She's good. I think she's good. I I love being able to have a spawn point anywhere on the map, along with that bonus damage. You got a satyr mixed into it on top of that. So it's basically like you're busting out the satyr combo with her. So it's like an 8-mana play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she's good. I would give her. I've never gotten the option to pull her in arena, so I don't know how she does in arena. But I would give her a 4 in constructed. In arena, I don't know. Maybe also 3 or 4. I feel like I'd probably pull other legendaries if I had other legendaries options for it.
No, that's fair. I think she's a little bit better in constructed, but
Yeah.
At the same time, when you consider she's a 5/5 body for 5, and her ability is, even if you consider it as just a 1-turn suitor, like anywhere on the board, I do like that ability.
Yeah, it's really good.
So,
No, I probably should be showing her more love, but
what ratings do you want me to put down here?
Yeah, no, I'll still go with. I still go with 4. Man, it's like a 4.5 for me on construct. I think she's really strong constructed. Arena, I still would like be leaning somewhere between a 3 and a 4. So
Okay.
she's still really good. She's definitely good.
Yeah, and if she wasn't legendary, I think you'd probably feel she's better in arena, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think in arena, if she was in epic status, you'd be pulling her like a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. So the next card here is a card that I think is a bit of a noob trap. Like, it's an incredibly powerful ability, but you have to get it going first. And that's on the card, which is Hades.
Yeah, Hades. I think Hades actually does a little bit more successful. Well, he does get also beat on. You know, like people do try to deal with him right away. It's kind of like almost like when you see a Spartan, you're just like, hey, I want to deal with this. I don't know. I mean, arena, I'd just give him 3s across the board. I definitely think he's a better change than his original ability for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I do think he is a little bit more successful in arena, in my opinion, versus constructed.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's bad in any way, but I think he gets a reputation of being like must pick, overpowered in arena, just because it's like...
The thing is, I've also seen a buddy try to play on it, and he just pulled way too many of these. And it's still expensive. That's the thing you got to keep in mind, guys. Like, if you're doing arena, you don't want 1,000,000 5s.
Yeah.
And he also does need the damage, so you're gonna also eat up like 2 mana the next turn to try to pump some power in them, unless you get some combos with your other spells to weaken them out with an Athena the next turn or something like that. So
what's Athena, and what's that 2-card cost archer that gives another creature +2/+0?
The Scion of Doom. Yeah,
Scion of Doom.
works really well.
That is, yeah, again, I'm going 4
I think that's
on
a very underrated card. I love Scion of Doom, especially in Odin decks. I mean, or Odin arena. I'll pick him all the time.
Yeah, completely. Especially if you're playing a deck that is going to be running siege and coercion and things like that, where it's like, oh, he's just another body to get pumped up, you know? I really like that. Plus, you having a 1/2 with after you use siege, where he's actually shooting for 3 at range to the summoning stone, is nasty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, did you say you wanted 3 across the board on Hades?
Yeah, I think I'll go 3 across the board for Hades. I think he's very well balanced. I agree with you. I do think this is something where a lot of people just immediately want to pick. It is a powerful ability to get those extra cards in your hand, but I don't think it's anything where it deserves a 4, in my opinion.
It really comes down to that 2 damage on the attack, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very tanky. He's very tanky for ranged.
Extremely tanky. That is right. He's really good at killing weenies.
Oh yeah.
So the next card we have here is Medusa.
Man, Medusa, my very first legendary.
Did you get the card code for that one?
Yeah, it was one where I got the card code and I was like, oh, I got to mess around with her. Man, you don't really see her in constructed. I feel like she has a wonderful ability. I mean, they can't trade back. You're looking at anything neutral can't trade back. It's just when she comes out, they will not be in a position to let her attack first on it, period.
Yeah.
And because of that, I just feel like she's kind of in the middle. I think she's a 3 for being a legendary, unfortunately. I think she's 3s across the board for me, man.
Same thing. And a big part of that is because specifically the text says attacks transform all units. Yes. On defense.
If it was any damage she does, this would completely change her. It would make her feel way more legendary, in my opinion. I feel like that would mean all the difference.
And I agree too. I have her as 3s across the board, literally just because that. It's again just like Hades. Potentially she could ruin the game, but first you got to get her started up and in position.
And then you got to get her in position. Yeah, and that's the hard part. Getting her in position before your enemy does something about it it's a little rough at the 5-drop.
Yeah, especially if you're going against Roman and they're just moving things in and out. Yeah. Next card is actually one of my favorite cards out of Greek, which is Athena.
Athena, I'm just gonna give her 5s across the board. I think she's amazing, especially since she's your free card. I mean, you're gonna use her in both. I always pull her in arena too. I think she's wonderful. I might be just giving her way too much love, but she's powerful, man. I think she's wonderfully powerful.
Yeah, I have no disagreements there. There's no deck that I've pretty much made with Greek, be it arena or constructed, where I've ever thought, would this deck be better without Athena in it? So that should just say something.
Yeah, Chima, she's definitely the Wonder Woman of Greek.
She's hella good. Nike, we have next.
Nike. Man, I was about to say, Chima, what do you think of Nike when she comes out against you?
Did you beat him with her?
Oh, no, I don't think I've gotten to do much games against Chima.
Oh, okay.
I do find her good against Nua when I am playing Zeus. But yeah, no, she's okay. I don't think she's anything broken. I'd probably just give her 3s across the board. I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's. I mean, she's because she's still expensive. Definitely nice to have that much damage, and that much life with immune spells. I think that's probably the biggest weakness for say the monkey archer.
Oh, yeah. What is he? A 5'2" or 6'2"? Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course.
6'2". Oh yeah, 6'2". I mean, it's a bummer. I mean, someone plays even one fire amp and it's goodbye.
No, totally. I'm gonna give her a 4 in constructed, but I have 3 on the other one, purely because in constructed, if Athena was not in the game, which we already stated is just broke as shit, Nike would be slotted in every deck I've got. Sure. So I will give her the 4, although this is a pretty low 4, admittedly.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the next card we have here is Ares, and it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, Ares is good. I feel like I see him more against Bologna. Yep. Those power dolls, you actually, it's not bad to pull them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fair. He'll get more of a ranking if he was in the Roman Pantheon. No, I think he's good. He's a good 7-drop. That Warcry is awesome. It's even more incredible with Shock and Awe when he can attack.
Oh yeah.
He works well with his other cards. So he just he's one of those cards that fits in for being an uncommon. Yeah, I'll give him You have them. It's funny. Didn't even pull them in the ranked. But for constructed, give him like a high 3 or a low 4. And then same for arena. Like I think he's really balanced, but better than just balanced.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4 in arena and 3 in constructed. And you had the opposite?
That's fair. No, that's about the same.
Okay.
That's about the same.
Reason why I say that, I think, and this is kind of a segue into the next card here, which is Artemis. I think Artemis is a better card in general for most Greek decks at 7. And mostly why I say that compared to Arena is Arena you might not have as like deep of a deck to be pulling something that costs 3 or higher consistently with Artemis. And I like the consistency out of Ares because of that for Arena.
Yes. Yeah, no, nothing sucks more than getting a weakening curse on Artemis with Arena. So, no, I agree with you.
So I just have it flipped here, which is I have her. Well, actually, I still have this as 4s across the board. A 7 cost.
She's still good.
She's still good, to be honest.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I go 4s across the board. I do think she's more stronger in constructed. She's a high 4 in constructed, and then she's just like a regular 4 in arena. I do think when Artemis was made, I think Artemis did take a lot of Ares slots because Ares was in that position of a 7 before for sure. Like if I had the rank deck back then without it, it's just Artemis. She just came into the scene and kind of shook things up.
Yeah, well, someone in chat, Simon Not 06 had mentioned that he likes a balanced 1-1 split of Ares and Artemis and constructed. I've seen a lot of the pro decks do that as well, so you're definitely not on the wrong path there.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
Last Pantheon card we have before I take a quick 2-minute break to just go grab another beer, and then we're going to review all of the neutral cards.
Oh man, we're going to go through the neutral still.
They go a lot more fast because of it's a lot less interesting abilities and really just looking at stats, to be honest.
Phantom Grasp.
Yeah, Phantom Grasp is the last one.
It's a lot of fun. I think it's a fun legendary. I think it's balanced out its mana cost. Execute on steroid when it comes to gods. It is expensive though. I'm not sure if you can always pull it in certain parts. He's like that's statistics. I will go with like 4/4 for me at least. I think it's really good and constructed when you have the slot for it. I think it's really good in arena when you have the slot for it. But nothing like game breaking. I do think it's better than just balance though. I think it's a good card.
Yeah, I have it 3 in arena and 4 in constructed. I just don't see as many high level gods in arena compared to high level neutral characters, for example.
That's fair.
Like I'll see a hell of a lot more Sensuous and Fire Giants and Brutes and things like that I have no way to deal with Phantom Grasp compared to. Well, I can't say that Fire Giant's not played everywhere. 5/5 for life with that guy. But but in constructed, there's almost always a strong central god that you can pick out of your opponent's deck. That it's going to be such a tempo swing that it's worth holding on to, and it's worth
I agree with that. I do think it is definitely stronger on constructed too. I do agree with that.
Okay, so just a reminder, guys. I'll be back within about 60 seconds.